Season number 3 is here in the Montreal Expos franchise. We are coming off of a huge offseason of storylines, and Season 3 is going to be packed with a lot of action. You don't want to miss this at all. In the offseason, we signed Whit Merrifield, and it was the smallest move we made. He is 37 years old, but we really had an issue with scoring runs last year, so we definitely want to improve on that. And he and Aaron Savale both agreed to 2-year contracts. But the big move in the offseason was signing Vladdy Jr, where his father once played, he grew up watching, and now he returns home. And he's going to show out in front of this packed, sold-out home crowd for opening day. We weren't done, though. We went to the New York Yankees and offered them a trade and acquired Perreria, Everson in center field, and that opened up an outfield competition. Now, what that ended up doing was created a more young core in the outfield, and I think that we are ready to build around certain guys. But I need to find out who. Well, it starts with adding some mentors to the group, so we added Christian Arroyo in the offseason as well, as that will offset Christian Walker as the veteran on the team. But then we saw a very good rookie year from Augustus Macklin, and he will look to continue that into season number 3, and hopefully he can get that average up. The average was a little lower than what I would want. He hit around 230, but still won Rookie of the Year. Then we drafted Luis Davila. Davila is 18 years old, and in spring training, he showed that he is still a young kid. Now, he is 78 overall right now, which is better than a lot of guys in the organization, but he will start out the year in AA. But one thing that I just wanted to see is how great Vladdy Jr would be in the lineup. I hit him at 3 in spring, I hit him at 4 in spring, and he thrived in both parts of the lineup, and I think this guy is going to have an MVP type year, especially being revitalized going home. But then I want to highlight the move where we drafted Christian Arroyo in the Rule 5 draft. He could start at a lot of positions, and he showed his versatility in the spring. In the second round of the draft, we drafted Diego Guerrero. Guerrero is going to start out with a potential at 94 and 68 overall. He's really, really good and really polished. But we're going to start him out in the AAA, at the AAA level, and he could move up in pretty short order if he shows that he can pitch against professional hitting. In the third round, we drafted Gregorio Camacho. Camacho is already a top 50 prospect in baseball. He's only 18 years old and a very polished lefty. You got to watch out for him throughout this season as well. We will make sure to keep tabs on him. But after the spring, I think it showed who is probably the most MLB-ready player in the outfield as far as center field goes and right field, which were our two competitions. And Everson Perreria won it hands down in center field. Dairon Blanco and Terrell Tatum, neither of them hit over 200. Neither did BJ Gibbs. Gibbs was a guy that played well towards the end of last year, but I just don't think he's ready to be a full-time MLB player. I think he still needs to develop a little bit more, even though he had a pretty good September call-up period. But in right field, Joe Adell took the job. Hit 286 in the spring. He's ready to be a full-time right fielder. But one guy that really surprised me in the spring was Bruce Edwards. He was our 4th round draft pick back in season 1, only 62 overall, but he can really hit the ball. And one thing that I am trying to value this year is guys that can score runs. And I think Edwards is going to score a lot of runs if given the opportunity. So that's what we will do. We will allow him to show what he can do, and he will make the MLB roster similarly to Cal Mitchell, who was a low overall last year. Maybe he's this year's Cal Mitchell. Well, we have an issue, though, at catcher because Luis Davila is 18 years old. He's not ready for the pros. Kyle Higashioka signed with the Royals in the offseason. We tried to sign him, but he did not accept our offer and moved on to get more money. So we need to look around the league to teams that have available catchers, and the Giants are the biggest one. They have Will Smith, who they signed to a big contract, Patrick Bailey, Blake Sabol, and Joey Bart. If we can acquire Blake Sabol, who's got awesome contact versus right and has 90 clutch and has a pretty good arm behind the plate, and it actually is a pretty decent runner for a catcher at 55 speed, maybe we could be on to something. And one guy we tried to trade in the offseason but couldn't find a trade partner for was Akil Baddoo. And I think right now he fits with what the Giants have because he's kind of a stopgap outfielder. And Blake Sabol is just really there for no reason. He is definitely expendable. So I add two outfielders to this trade, including Peyton Aller. And they don't really have any guys that are in the outfield that are C potential, looking at center field right here. And they accept this deal. So we trade two outfielders for a catcher in Blake Sabol. And Sabol hits so well versus right that he will be the starting catcher here on opening day. And one thing that I like about him is that when he's ready to get rid of that catcher tag on him, he could possibly play outfield when Luis Avila is ready to play. So that's definitely a possibility. If Sabol can show that he can play other positions, that would be amazing. So here's our opening day roster. And one thing I wanted to emphasize is that this could change quite a bit come a month or even 2 months from now. I look at our starting rotation with Santiago, Savale, John Means, Emmett Sheehan, who we traded for in the offseason, and Cody Bradford. But our bullpen is kind of a little shaky. I'm interested to see how they will perform. Hopefully they perform a lot better than what their overalls say they will. But Jamal Watson finally moves into that closer role. Our lineups versus right-handed hitter and right-handed pitchers goes like this. Whit Merrifield, I signed him to be the leadoff hitter. That's what he's going to do. Cal Mitchell's going to hit 2. Bill Hedger's going to start the year hitting 3. I don't know if that's going to stick. It's going to be either Vladdy at 3 or Hedger at 4. I'm not really exactly sure how that's going to go, but anything can happen. They're such great hitters. They can hit in either position. A-Mac will hit number 5 with Barger behind him at 6. Blake Sabol at 8, Perreria at 7, and then Joe Adell with that 99 speed will hit at the bottom of the lineup. Hopefully he scores a lot of runs. And then coming off of the bench, Dairon Blanco barely makes the opening day roster. He almost got sent down to AAA, but I figured with his speed, he's an awesome guy to have as a pinch runner. Versus left-handers, Whit Merrifield will be at second base. Hedger will be the DH here at the 2 spot. He hits pretty well versus lefties. And then Vladdy at 3. And then Bruce Edwards right now, I'm going to have him platooning with Joe Adell. Obviously, we're not going to face a ton of left-handed pitchers in our division, so I feel comfortable with having another right-handed hitter right in the middle of our lineup in Edwards. So we'll see how he does there. He impressed me last year and in the spring. And going into this season, like a lot of teams do, that don't have huge budgets, we're going to give a 8-year deal to Bill Hedger. It saves us money down the road, and it pretty much locks us in to him for the next 8 years. And this was the same deal that Jackson Chourio got for the Milwaukee Brewers before the start of the season. So we will give him his money right now. So we go against the Cincinnati Reds to open the season. And one thing that I want to emphasize is that the Reds have a lot of interesting players, including Will Benson, who hit over 300 last season. They signed Kyle Schwarber, a very good clutch hitter. They also drafted Rich Cabrera back in season 1's draft, and remember, he was amazing. 8 potential. He started out at 71 overall. I believe now he's 76 overall. He is right now platooning at catcher with Tyler Stevenson. And this is a up-and-coming Reds team in real life and in this franchise. And here we go. Vladdy Jr returns home to Montreal. I am so excited for this. It's going to be a good season. We're only projected to win 70 games. I disagree. I think this team is much better than 70 wins. But there is a caveat to our gameplay. We are going to be on legend pitching this season. I like Hall of Fame hitting. I think it's a really good difficulty. But for pitching, I'm going to up it to legend, and we'll see how it goes. Alexander Santiago gets the opening day start over Aaron Savale. I really wanted to emphasize building around the young core, and that starts with getting our young pitchers some confidence, and Santiago gets the opening day start. He will face Hunter Green, who also kind of had a down year last year, still had a 24% strikeout rate, which is really good, but we'll see what happens today. Elly De La Cruz leads off this game with a walk, and now an early base runner here for this young Reds team. That brings up Will Benson. I highlighted it before. Hit 300 last year, 900 OPS as well. This one's up in the zone, and it hits him on the shoulder, and now 2 early base runners. Anthony Santander to the plate. He swings at one at a terrible pitch, and it gets enough wood on it to drop into center field for a single, and that will start it out 1-0 as Elly De La Cruz, the fastest player in baseball, scores from second easily, and it's 1-0. Kyle Schwarber to the plate now. He swings at a pitch way out of the zone also, and he gets enough wood on it. That drops in, and it's 2-0 for the Reds. So this Reds electric young lineup comes through, and now the youngest guy here comes up. Rich Cabrera, he hits one to left center field, and that will be the first out here in 2026. And, well, we have, a double play situation here. A ground ball would be great, but instead Matt McLain has other ideas. He hits one well to right field. Joe Adell with the strong arm in right comes up throwing, and he cannot get the call at the plate, and it is 3-0 in favor of the Reds. That ball was left right over the middle of the plate. Jake Fraley to the plate now. He hits one well down the first base line. That one gets past Vladdy. It will be a play at the plate again, and the runner comes across 4-0. So that brings up Alexander Santiago to face Christian Encarnacion. A ground ball to third, and we get out of this long inning to start season number 3. 4 hits, amassed 4 runs, and we find ourselves in a hole already. Whit Merrifield signed to a 2-year, $8 million deal with a team option. On top of that, that one will be a line out to second base. Cal Mitchell swinging at one up in the zone. That one will be a pop-up behind the plate. And now there are 2 quick outs here for this Expos team. But a standing ovation here. Bill, Hedger, and Vladdy hitting 3 and 4 in this lineup is going to be electric. He gets one up in the zone. Hedger swings. This is deep to right field. Gone. Bill Hedger, the front runner for Rookie of the Year after an amazing September last season, comes through already. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think we're going to score a lot more runs than last year with Vladdy and Hedger in this lineup. As up comes Vladimir Guerrero Jr., returning home to his hometown in Montreal for his first AB with his dad's former team. He gets one over the middle of the plate, driven deep to left field, back at the wall, and it is caught. Stays in the yard by feet, and it's 4-1. On to the top of the second inning. Noelvi Marte to the plate now. He pops up in the infield as Santiago starts to settle down a little bit. Now facing Anthony Santander to the plate. 1-for-1, and he swings through that slider. And we do get out of that second inning after giving up too much damage in the first. Amac to the plate. Last year's Rookie of the Year. He hits one down the right field line. That one is fair, and it's just going to be one long single here for Amac. He's not the greatest of runners, but he's actually improving defensively, which I do love. But we'll see if he can get that average up after a kind of a low average to win Rookie of the Year. Everson Perreria with his first AB here with the Expos. He will walk, and he's got decent speed on first base. That brings up Blake Sabal. He hits one well up the middle. That one hits off of the pitcher's foot, and he will leg that one out. So his first at-bat is a hit here with the Expos, and we have bases loaded, 1 out here in the second inning, and that's going to bring up Joe Adell. And he snagged that right field job after an impressive spring, and he actually had a pretty good second half of last year. He gets one low, driven deep to right field. This one will get over the glove of the right fielder all the way to the wall. Jake Fraley comes up throwing, but 2 runs will come across the plate, and it is a 1-run affair. So Joe Adell coming through in the clutch, and that 4-run lead has been erased, and now it is just a 1-run game that brings up Whit Merrifield. and he's just late on that swing. A pop-up here in the infield. We'll get the second out of the inning. As that brings up Cal Mitchell, last year's big surprise, and he swings and misses at an outside fastball, and we find ourselves down by 1. Bottom 3 now as Vladdy Jr comes to the plate. He hits one well to right center. That one will get down. His first hit as an Expo. He's rounding first, headed to second, and it's a stand-up double. The hometown fans are loving that one, and hopefully it's a lot more to come for Vladdy Jr. That has to feel good returning home wearing his Pop's former jersey as well. Augustus Macklin, he swings and misses through that changeup. That's a tricky pitch by Hunter Green. He throws about 99 mile an hour, then tops it off at an 87 circle changeup, and that brings up Barger, who waves at that one as well. And now it's still 4-3 as we move on to the top of the 4th inning. Ellie De La Cruz to the plate. He swings and misses at a changeup, and Alexander Santiago has been solid besides that first inning. As we move on to the bottom of the 4th, here's Joe Adell back at the plate. He hits one well down the right field line. He's got 99 speed. He will round first, head to second, but a good play off the wall will hold him up at second despite that 99 speed. And now we have another runner in scoring position. Now Whit Merrifield to the plate, 0 for 2 today. He gets one low, and we'll go down and get it. And that one will be fair down the left field line. And just like that, it is a tie ball game here for your Expos. Whit Merrifield stole 25 bags back-to-back years. It was a big reason why we brought him in, and he gets on base at a high clip. But we cannot get him in after Cal Mitchell strikes out for the second time today. That brings up Santander to the plate again. And Alexander Santiago has been pitching a really solid game after that rocky first inning. And now he faces Kyle Schwarber to the plate. 2-2 pitch, 2 outs in the 5th. It's a chopper to first. Easy play for Vladdy Jr. And he steps on the bag. And now we're on to the later half of this game as that brings in Miguel Castro out of the bullpen. He will get the first call out of all of our bullpen guys this year. We'll see what he can do facing Noel V. Marte. It's an outside slider, swinging and missing at that one. And now we have 2 outs in this inning, bringing back Ellie De La Cruz, who already has 2 strikeouts. Make it 3. A swing and a miss by Ellie De La Cruz. He is 0 for 3. He did score with that walk with the opening at bat, but we do have this Reds lineups number now through 6 innings as we go on to the bottom of the 7th. That brings up Cal Mitchell, hitless so far, but not anymore. It's one thing about Cal Mitchell is that you will not keep him hitless in games. He just finds a way to get on base. Bill Hedger, 1 for 3 with that solo home run earlier. He hits a hard ground ball to Ellie De La Cruz, and Cruz can't handle it, and it is going to be just a fielder's choice at second base. 1 for 3 day for Vladdy Jr., and he watches that one on the outside half of the plate, and it will be an outside slider for ball 4. Amac to the plate now, 2 for 3 in this game with 2 singles, and he walks as well. So it is bases loaded, and Addison Barger, who's hitting in that 6th spot, 0 for 3 today, hitting 271, hit 271 last year with a very impressive line as he gets one low. This one is a chopper up the middle. Ellie De La Cruz flipped to second, and nothing doing in the 7th as we move on to the 8th. Miguel Castro still rolling on the mound. He gets Santander to swing and miss at that sinker, and Castro's a tough guy to get good wood on. That brings up Schwarber to the plate now, 1 for 3. He hits this one well to right field, but right at Joe Adell. And the Reds have went stone cold since that first inning. So they go to the bullpen late here, and we'll see if we can manufacture some runs as we bring up Everson Perreria, 0 for 2 today, and he hits one well to right field. This one's going to get to the gap, and it will bounce off of the warning track and over the wall for a ground rule double. And Perreria has pretty good speed, so he's going to look to score from second on a base hit here. That brings up Blake Sabal, 1 for 3 today, and he hits one well to the right side. That one will get through, but with no outs, we will actually hold up Perreria. Even though Perreria has good speed and could have scored on that one, It's still no outs in this inning, and that brings up Joe Adell, who's got great speed at the plate. 2 for 3 today. He gets a hanger and hits one well up the middle. A 3 for 4 day for Joe Adell, and he comes through and gives the Montreal Expos a late 5-4 lead in the bottom of the 8th, and there's still no outs. That brings up Whit Merrifield. Late on that one, will it get down? And it's run down by the right fielder. A great throw that time to hold the runners at second and first. As that brings up Cal Mitchell again. He gets a fastball over the middle of the plate, but a high fly ball to left field. And that one will be the second out of the inning. As that brings up Bill Hedger to the plate now. 3-2 pitch, 2 outs. And he gets a good pitch again, but it's just a fly ball to deep center field. And that will do it here for the 8th as we move on to the final frame. Jamal Watson in 2026 is coming in for his first save opportunity. We'll see if he can get it done as he faces the middle of the lineup. Up comes Rich Cabrera to the plate now, and he swings and misses at the low and outside fastball, and that's the first out of the inning. Matt McLean to the plate now, 1 for 3 today. He gets one up in the zone. He hits it well to left center field, but look at Everson Perreria covering a lot of ground in center field. Got the center field job here in spring training, and he runs that one down. Tyler Stevenson comes off of the bench now. Remember, he platoons with Rich Cabrera, and that one will be ball 4. As now they have a man on first with the potential go-ahead run coming to the plate in Christian Encarnacion. He's 0 for 3 today, and Jamal Watson delivers. Fly ball to center field, and Everson Perreria will get under that one, and the Expos will win this opening day game 5-4. How about the outing we saw from a lot of these guys? Alexander Santiago, a rough start, but then was lights out the rest of the way. They had 4 hits in the first inning. They had 2 the rest of the way, just to put it in perspective there. But a great game by Joe Adell, also going 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. And if he can hit like that, hitting at the bottom of our lineup, we're going to produce a lot of runs as the lineup rolls over to the top. So we move on to game number 2, 3, and 4 of this 4-game set, and Bill Hedger at the plate. Stemming off of last year, he has a 15-game hit streak going. That's how hot he was at the end of September last year. This year he has true rookie eligibility, so he will be eligible for that Rookie of the Year award. He does fly out to short center field, as he does get an opportunity. Once again, 0 for 4 today. Don't make it 0 for 5, Hedger, as he gets one inside and he's late. It looked like a slider to me. That's why we were late. And it ends up being a fly ball to right field. And the Cincinnati Reds rebound after a 5-4 loss on opening day and win the next game 2-1. We do take game 3 7-6. So 3 one-run games to open the season. And then in game 4, we go up 13-2. I mean, what happened in this game in comparison to last game? We just got hot there in the middle frames. And now here is Riley Adams to the plate. He has 2 home runs today. He's 3 for 3, trying to make it a 3 home run game. He gets one on the outside half. That one is just barely hit on the end of the bat to left field. That's one of those pitches where you just get lucky. And Riley Adams, 4 for 4 today. He's going to be a guy that's gonna have to step up this year. Now 4 for 4, looking to go 5 for 5 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Still a 14-3 lead. It's a chopper to Elly De La Cruz and an easy double play for the Reds. But we go on to win this game in blowout fashion, 14-3. We had 15 hits to their 5, and that gives us the series win. We end up beating them 3 out of 4, and we actually looked pretty solid to start season number 3. You know, our MLB level looks really good, but we have one of the best farm systems in all of baseball, which is led by Luis Davila. He is the number 1 prospect in baseball right now. Gregorio Camacho is actually a top 50 prospect, and he was our 3rd round pick last year. He is sitting here right in the middle of the rankings, and he looks pretty good to start it out. I can't wait to see what he does. He's number 33 ranked. Diego Guerrero is also a top 50 prospect. He was our second round pick, and I'm probably going to highlight him starting next video, seeing, exactly what he looks like, and he should be called up pretty close to, his expected ETA. Carlos Samuel is also a top 100 prospect. He was our fourth round pick last year. Now, he is probably going to be a 2, maybe a 3-year guy to develop in the majors. I have no rush for him. But then we still have Gary Shoemaker, and obviously we have Bill Hedger, who are in the top 100 as well. So we have 6 top 100 prospects in our organization right now, which kind of shows you how great of a draft last year was. And our future is very, very bright, especially with guys that are already on this list at the MLB level right now. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see a lot of these guys develop and to see who will become the stars of this series and this rebuild. So that will do it for episode 1 of season 3. And next episode, we lead off with facing the three-peat, 3-time champions, Texas Rangers. Cannot wait to face them. I want to see what the special mojo is all about, because they have something going, and they have won the last 2 World Series in this series and last 3 dating back to 2023. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.